Shadows rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait. Captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down. Fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tinker Time, an FPL pod, the show for every fantasy Premier League manager who's already second-guessing their first draft. It's Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, and whether you're wildcarding after week 6 or just here to scout some differentials, you've come to the right place. I'm Matt alongside Jim, and we're here to help you tweak, test, and yes, tinker your way to the top of your mini leagues. We'll break down the best value picks, fixture trends, and hidden gems, so you don't have to stare at your squad screen in despair. So let's pop the hood, crack open the spreadsheet, and get tinkering. Jim, how the hell are you?
I'm great because my Yankees just won, and sometimes it's good to focus on other things besides FPL for a little bit. Get your mind off of it, to get out of a little slump.
I know our listeners are probably a little bit confused on a few fronts, so just a little bit of housekeeping. If anyone else noticed, the calendar has turned, so we are now in October, and curious if any of our listeners maybe caught on to our little Easter egg. If our listeners know anything about you and I, one of our favorite video games of all time, Call of Duty Zombies mode. We love Easter eggs, and there was a little Easter egg in the last episode. We had a little bit of kind of spooky background noise in the last episode. So if you caught that, good for you. But we'll try to clean that up for this episode. I did not think that's where you were going with that. Well, I'm off the rails here. But so just apologies if that I know when I heard it kind of ticked me off, but we'll try to clean that up for the next episode. But yes, you nailed it. We are in the thick of playoff baseball season. So yeah, our record schedule is a little bit in flux this week, but aside from playoff baseball, we did also have a birthday, I think, in the room here.
That's right.
So
right.
There is some birthday celebrations and wishes to be sent. Happy 43rd birthday to you, Jim.
39.
Well, 39 again. But how did you celebrate your birthday? I'm curious. Did you do anything for yourself?
No. We got a little takeout, watched some TV, went to bed. Yeah, that's what 39 looks like.
Interesting. Yeah, for our listeners,
you don't have to keep saying for our listeners. They know we're just talking to them.
Well, I guess, yeah, there could be people
unless
who are
there's
not
somebody
listening.
else in the room with you that you're chatting with.
It's spooky season. There could be spirits around me, but apologies. Jim, he is a man and he has needs. So, that's why, we weren't able to record the other night. But let's just move past that. And we're here. We're recording now. And I'm excited to be back. This is a fun episode because of the way the schedule is kind of falling. We want to make sure that we are recapping Gameweek 6, but knowing that we have Gameweek 7 that's going to kick off this Friday, we are going to do something fun here, and we are going to have our first ever mega episode, our first recap and deadline episode combined.
Yeah.
Well, it's an homage to someone who I think is very dear to your heart, that being Dwight True, the Mega Desk.
So,
yeah. So, we're just flying by the seat of our pants here. We've never done this before. It might go great. It might go awful, but it's gonna go.
Let's get through it.
With that, let's try our best. So game week 6, it went. What just happened? I think game week 6, if I remember correctly, before opening kickoff, it started out with news that Graham Potter lost his job, sacked, and almost before he could even pack his bags and take a holiday, Nuno's back in. Very interesting. I think we all kind of saw the writing on the wall. Graham Potter just, he never probably should have left Brighton.
No.
He just
What a
kind of
fall he's had.
what a fall he has had. But it's nice to see Nuno, who honestly we don't know what went down behind closed doors there at Forest. He and Marinakis clearly had a falling out, whether he deserved to get sacked or not. Nice to see him land on his feet. Nice to see him kind of immediately have an impact with West Ham. And we'll talk a little bit more about that squad and kind of, how maybe there might be some interest in some of those players moving forward now. Just very, very interesting off the rip. Any thoughts, reactions to that when you heard the news?
I think it's a safe pick to get him in. I think fans will be happy with it. The squad knows he's a Premier League manager that knows what he's doing. So I think it's a safe pick. That they needed a change. How much better he's gonna do with the squad than Potter, I'm not sure. As far as choices go, he'll always have a special spot in my heart.
Well, you know who is still bad and somehow still has his job? Uh,
And who will not land on their feet after this season?
no chance. Ruben Amorim. So this is a very interesting one. I don't remember if we talked about this on the last episode or not, but I thought I came across a report that basically said there's a clause in his contract that something along the lines of if he gets sacked before November, he is due a 12 million pound payout. If he gets sacked in November, it's only 4 million. So I
Too
don't
long.
know if it's like I can't imagine United is hurting for money to the point where like eight
No.
8 million is going to make the difference. But it just seems like the same thing over and over. So, United again lost, not again, but well, actually, I do think they had a similar instance where they went to Brentford when they debuted their third kit a few seasons ago, and they also lost. So history does repeat itself, but they lost. They lost to a team that they really have no business losing to, just purely based on the name of the club. Bruno missed a penalty. It just like if it can go wrong, it is going wrong for United. They're
There
bad
was
right now.
there was just nothing. I almost felt a little bad for him, but Cameron
Yeah.
on the sideline at the end, just looking so so down, and nobody talking to him.
He's Steven Glansberg.
Yeah, I honestly, I cannot imagine they're keeping him to save 8 million like that for a club that's that big
Yeah.
and has that much money and a brand that's worth that much. I have to imagine it's that they don't know who to bring in.
Yeah. I also
He,
heard a report that there was like a closed door meeting where like they basically told him like we want you to play I think I heard like we want you to play a 4-3-3 like basically telling him the formation that they want him to play, which is like in my opinion, like how do you bring in someone and tell them the system that you
mm,
want them to play? Like that feels very odd to me. The other thing that's like also very interesting, I think if you look at United's underlying metrics, like they still do lead the league in expected goals at somewhere around like 13 or 14 expected goals. Which we've been
yeah, but
saying all
a lot of
season,
that
like
was
they
from early in that first game,
true.
right?
Well, to be honest, I don't really have like the breakdown of like where that expected goal contribution is coming from, but like still like that's just the difference between like expected goals versus goals that have actually been converted. It's I imagine those conversations from like Ruben's side are like, look, like we should be scoring more goals. Like the results will come, just give me time. And to a certain extent, like if you're going to bring a manager in, if you're going to bring new players in, I do believe you have to give it some time to let the system, settle, let the players settle into the club, let the system develop to a certain extent. It just seems like United are doing the same song and dance where they bring a manager in. This feels like the first time they're really bringing in new players, but it's just the same old thing where they just kind of they bring someone new in. They don't really change the culture of the club and they expect a different result. I think that's the definition of insanity, but I could be wrong.
Do you think it's a job that, I guess any manager job is coveted, but do you think it's a job that the managers that are out there and available are looking at as one that they would want? Like, the pressure is going to be so high to bring them back to where they were with Ferguson, but it just seems like everybody they brought in is a flop. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I think about it from like a resource perspective, I think that part of the playing field has been leveled, right? Like every club has seemingly access to, I shouldn't say every club, but a lot of clubs nowadays have access to more and more resources, better training facilities, deeper academies, etc. So like the things that maybe, United could have touted as, hey, we do this better, outclass folks,
Hmm.
we are leaps and bounds ahead. Like all of those things that kind of set them apart and set them ahead of other clubs, like other clubs have caught up. So to answer your question, like, do you think that it's a job that is coveted by managers? To a certain extent, yes, because I think the lore and kind of the luster of being the manager at United and being the manager that can turn it around. Anyone can come in there and continue the shitstorm. That's not the hard part. It's the manager that's going to come in and turn it around. Like he'll be treated like Ange, right? The manager who can come in and deliver the trophy to Spurs. Like
Hmm.
you're going to get a bronze statue at this point because like United have just been so bad. You look back, was it Ale who had them in third place like just a few seasons ago, or was it even like Ten Hag who had him in third place just a few seasons ago? Like it, they're so bad right now. The bar is so low. It just feels like they just need someone who can come in there, command the room, command the players, have a stable system, and put a system in place that like the players that they have in the dressing room, it actually suits them.
Mm.
Like having Bruno playing as like a deep like defensive mid, that just doesn't feel right. Like you see the impact he has on the game when he's playing
Yeah.
more attacking, more up top. So that to me is still questionable. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to harp on it too much because at the end of the day, right? Like we're talking about a team that I don't have the table position in front of me, but we're talking about a team right now that like they're they're not relevant, frankly,
They're in 14th. They got 7 points through 6 games. Not great.
not great. You know,
Across the river, though, up in Manchester, another good, excuse me, big win out of City. Holland delivers, coming off that injury.
injury,
Yeah, fake injury.
Yeah.
We got. Have we
fake news.
locked down a lineup that Pep's comfortable with? No, a lot of changes going on in there still, but big win over a team that they should have killed, and they did. So I think City are not letting off the gas. With Liverpool dropping points, it was a big week for them to not follow suit and take care of business at Burnley.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a fun one for Holland captainers and Holland triple captainers. I I should
Yeah,
say, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but yeah, this was it was one of those games where like City, it felt like they could have also they could have won this game like 7 or 8-1. It felt like Burnley could have helped them out even more. I don't know, like Esteve just kept putting goals in left and right for them. I don't know. It was in a I feel like Kyle
yeah,
Walker basically just told them like, "Hey guys, like do me a solid. They're good guys. They're my old club. Like let's give them this one."
2 own
But
goals,
2 own goals. That's
but they did score one themselves. So,
They did. They did. Yeah. But yeah,
but yeah,
Holland
I
just
guess
his
not a
form right now.
surprising result. And Holland does what he's been doing, and his numbers are unbelievable, almost as good as Harry Kane's. But I guess more surprising is that Liverpool lost to Palace. Their first,
Unbeaten in their last 18, Palace, I think.
which is crazy. That's
It's
a crazy stat.
Ollie's
Mhm.
got him playing, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
Sar's back from injury.
Sar's back. Edward and Kedia with the chip in goal. So Arsenal's still doing everything they can to take it away from Liverpool. But
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought after 6 game weeks, Dallas would sit 3rd in the table, I believe,
Yeah.
with no losses, and they've played I mean, they've gone through Liverpool. It's just I mean, good for them, honestly. There was actually and I don't know if it was AI. I hope it wasn't, but there was a tweet, that I saw on X. Is that what they're called now? Are they called tweets on X?
I don't know.
Are they called Z's on X? I don't know.
X's.
But basically, all my exes live in Texas. There was basically, I think it was basically like the owner of Palace from like 2015 saying something like, we should be able
Yes, I
to
did see
compete
that.
for titles in like 10 or 15 years or
Yeah,
something like that. And I was like, there's no way. This has to be fake.
I saw that as well.
Yeah. So
But
I don't know.
they've just been great. I mean, coming off the Community Shield win to go unbeaten, unexpected given the loss of Eze.
You know what is expected though? I have to say, death, taxes, Arsenal score, and offset pieces. I mean,
It's the only way they could score.
it's the only way they can score. It's getting out of hand, honestly. Mm, It's just I don't want to make too much of it because listen, like at the end of the day, a goal's a goal, right? They all count the same.
Mm.
But credit to them, right? Like it is a very clear strength of their club. It is a very clear strategy that they are going to out tactician other teams when it comes to
Tacticize.
their
Out tacticize.
out tacticize. You know the word I mean.
Out tack.
It's out tack. Is there a T at the end of that? Or is it just ta ta ta?
Silent is a
Mm,
soft T.
that's a soft T. It's like a yeah. But no, in all seriousness, like it's just it's so annoying as a non-Arsenal supporter, but you got to give him credit.
Yeah. And I know we said we're not going to talk about him anymore, but he did get another assist. I mean, his dead ball delivery is just, it's very good.
It's very good.
It's very
It is.
good. We'll give
It
him
is.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the table is unexpected. So Liverpool dropped their first points, but they're sitting at 15, so low in the lead. Arsenal 2 points behind. Then we have Crystal Palace with 12, and then Tottenham, Sunderland, and Bournemouth all with 11. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Sunderland again with 11 points, and I know Bournemouth has been playing out of their mind,
Yeah.
especially Semenyo. But for the 3 of those teams to be, or I guess 4 if you include Palace, all to be ahead of City and Chelsea, nobody would have expected that at the beginning of the year or at the off season. But that being said, it's a long season. Lots of a lot of games left. City is still very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I know at the beginning of the season, I had Brentford personally on relegation watch. I don't know if I am necessarily as worried about them as I am Forest. Obviously, the circumstances have changed at this point.
Using that as an out already. Getting
No,
out.
no, no. I'm not. I'm not using it as an out. I'm using it as a just as a point to say that I'm worried about Forest, and
Yeah.
I will say like I don't know if it's just personnel because Spurs and Forest, obviously two very different teams, but Ange's style is in theory not going to change. So was Spurs personnel just that much better from an attacking perspective to keep them up? I mean, if we remember, Spurs finished, what was it, 16th or 15th last season, right? Where did they finish last season?
I thought it was 17th.
Was it 17th? They finished behind United or ahead? I forget.
Thought they were behind. I thought West Ham finished right above us. I could
It
be.
doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. But like at the end of the day, right? Like they weren't really in a relegation battle, but they were like kind of right there. So just looking at the point total right now, like Forest is only at 5 points. Burnley, in my opinion, have like looked better than Forest. So Forest could be on the way out. That'd be a tough look for Ange.
Yeah, well, I think we got to give him some time. I mean, he's only been
Yeah.
there. He came in and lost the first game immediately, right? So Give him
He's
some
lost a
time.
few games. So that being said, why don't we get into our boom and our bust player of the week? Bringing it back. Our boom of the week, our best player of the week. The award goes to none other than, you guessed it, another defender, Omar Alderete, Sunderland defender, 17 points. So he scored a goal, had a clean sheet, 11 defensive contribution. So he also nabbed the 3 bonus points in 90 minutes. Good for him. If you had him on your team, good for you. We'll get into some of his underlying ownership and his price and some of those metrics a little bit later on in the episode, I'm sure. Yeah, Sunderland, I mean, it feels like you mentioned it. I mean, 11 points already through 6 matches. Overachieved, I think, thus far. But,
Yeah,
you know, good for them. Um,
for
moving on to
the people of that city, I hope they keep it up. I cannot
standing
wait
light.
for next season in Sunderland until I die.
Just hopefully, yeah. Hopefully they make it to next season.
I mean, to help them, I mean, they already have 11 points, so
That's true.
That's
That's
an
true.
incredible start. And
Great start. Keep it going.
there's some teams that look very, very bad in comparison to them. So
Yeah. And I
think
would
they'll be
also
okay.
think Nuno can kind of help West Ham ascend the table a little bit.
Mm.
They already looked better in their one game with him than they already did than they looked with Potter in their first 5, I think.
We'll see.
Nuno basically told James Ward-Prowse to take a hike. But anyway, biggest flops. So this one, I'm interested to get your take on this. So I got a short list here. I would say Bruno Fernand for a couple of reasons. One, the obvious being he stepped up, missed a penalty. If for someone who historically big point returner for Fantasy Premier League, someone who has historically also been a pretty good converter when it comes to penalties, for him to miss one, considering all of the pressure and the noise lately around the club, just couldn't come at a worse time.
Yeah.
So just an overall awful flop for Bruno.
Coming off of a game that everybody, we're thinking maybe this could be the turning point.
Yeah.
But to then go and miss the second penalty of the season, it's unforgivable.
Yeah. And I mean, you think about, Bomo, who is coming off of a season where, he looked pretty good from the charity stripe. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that, Bruno, I'm not saying that he's done enough to lose the role, but there are some other folks on the team now that have taken plenty of spot kicks and have converted plenty of them.
I mean, I think he has done enough to lose it. You can't miss 2
Well,
penalties when your team's doing that bad. You need goals from anywhere. It'd be hard to argue that he can keep them.
yeah. I honestly, I really don't know. I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can't think of a scenario or like an instance at any other time where a player like Bruno, who has had such a tenure, such a history, where missing 2 in a row, like where they did miss 2 in a row, where like they lost it just after missing those 2. Like I'm not saying that because I'm doubting your point. I genuinely can't think of an example where there's like precedent. So you might be right. I mean, Mbomo obviously did really well last season from the penalty mark, so it's definitely possible. But it's also one of those things where, like, if Mbomo gets the job and he misses say he misses the first one, like Amarim, I mean, he's got to get it right. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call. I mean, that's your captain. That's messy.
Yeah.
That's messy.
I'm looking up what he has, even prior to this season, what his penalties have looked like. And saying he's actually missed the most penalties in the Premier League since he came to England, 6.
I think
That's a
he
lot.
had a stint when he first came over where he was missing a lot, and then I think he actually changed his run up to his penalties, and then he became like very, I don't want to say automatic. He became very good at them, and then CR7 came back, and I think he kind of took over penalties. And he lost the job, and then like,
Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need. Maybe the Saudis will give him back.
yeah, I don't know,
Tough
but
tough
yeah,
week for Bruno.
tough week for Bruno. Tough week for another highly owned FPL asset, that being João Pedro. Just totally blank this week. I know for myself, I was definitely disappointed in his lack of return this week. I don't know.
I think that's a little tough though because they were man down again for what, half the game almost.
Well,
Yeah, 53rd minute
yes,
red card. So,
3rd minute red card.
and similar to when Sanchez got the red card, right? It totally changes what the team is going to be doing. And at that point, they had a 1 goal lead, so they're not going to be as explosive and free playing as they normally would be. So disappointing given his ownership and who
Yeah.
they're playing, but I don't know if I'd call him a flop.
So I think that's for me. I think you hit it like right on the head where it's the ownership for me. Taking into consideration, I think we know clear as day now with Palmer out, Enzo is going to be their penalty taker. I think we mentioned it on the last episode. Enzo and Caicedo were actually the two, I want to say it was like the 4th and 5th, or maybe it was the
Yeah,
3rd and
they were top
4th.
5.
They're like top 5 scoring midfielders. So if Enzo's actually going to be on penalties and he's, within the 5 and 6 mil range or somewhere around that, for price, I mean, he might become someone that you look to target. João Pedro, though, at that price is still someone I think, he should warrant the attention. So I understand your point where, the red card kind of threw off the game plan. Sure. But I just think for someone who, when Palmer did have his injury to begin the campaign, João Pedro kind of shined. I was kind of hoping that would replicate itself in the last game week. So
Yeah.
hoping for a little bit more. Now, I did also see that he had a little bit of an injury. I guess he did not get called up to the Brazil squad, and he's not playing the champion. There's something going on. I haven't totally followed it. There was some news that came out today, but I guess it means he's going to be rested for like game weeks 8 or 9 coming up. Should be good. So we'll cover that more in future game weeks, but hopefully big things to come out of Joe. So we'll see. And then
Another one. This one, I
go
don't
ahead.
think anybody could argue.
Yeah.
Salah, and even I know I see you threw Verts in there just to give him another shot, but yeah, blanks for both of them against Crystal Palace, like we said. I think with Isak coming in and getting some time with the squad, we all expected more.
Yeah.
And that price it's hard to justify if he's gonna be blanking, especially when there's other midfielders that are cheap that you could get more midfielders in that have been a little more consistent. Enzo, I mean, for example, he just scored again.
Right.
So
Right.
Salah was kind of covering himself at the first part of the season here with the late goals and contributions. He only had the 1 blank or 2 blanks so far, I think. But even
Yeah.
that, it's like, can you live on 1 assist a week from Salah? It's going to be
Right.
tough if nobody else is delivering
Yeah.
in your squad. So I think that's completely agree. Tough week for Salah and tough start to the season for Verts. 007.
I think he's got to go down to the minors, honestly. Send him down to the championship or something for a couple weeks. Let him get some reps down there. But no, in all seriousness, like I feel like managers were almost like really hoping for this kind of a week from Salah, because I actually feel like managers were looking for a reason to move him out, because like you said, like even Salah's blanks, like that we would consider blanks, he was still nabbing an assist here or like a late goal here. And it's like, all right, like, sure, he's still getting, 8 points or something, like, not a double digit haul, but for his price, you'd really want to see a goal and assist, or just something a little bit more. But for him to now have a completely true length, I feel like managers now are going to say, oh, okay, this is really what I've been waiting for. I'm going to try to move on from him, try to free up some of those funds, and now I'm going to really try to you know manage and bring in some more players. So
Yeah.
we'll take a look at some of the transfers and some of the players that have made the most moves in and out over the last couple of days. See if Salah is one of those players that have been moving out. I don't think it'll be enough to see his price drop, but you never know. But
Is he
yeah,
is he still 14.5?
I think
He's
so.
14.5 right now. I just couldn't remember if he jumped up or if that was only Holland.
Yeah, I don't think he's not targeted for a drop either at the
Yeah.
moment. Well, I don't. We can look at that stuff
Yeah.
later. But yeah, tough week for Liverpool all around. Hard to say. Hard to say. Liverpool and we'll talk about them. So why don't
Yeah.
we get into match reactions? We'll try to keep this one a little bit succinct, just because we're going to try to do the mega ep here. So
Yeah.
why don't we go through match by match? What do you
Let's
say?
do it.
Okay, you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So Saturday we had the early game, Brentford United. Brentford coming off a hot start. Igor Thiago with the double in the 8th and the 20th, assisted by Jordan Henderson. Good to see him back on the score sheet.
I think it was the longest assist in the league this season by like kilometers
It
or meters,
kilometers?
I guess.
That's
Well, meters.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Christ.
But anyway,
I'm used to measuring very long things, so
hot start by the Bees. Sheshko pulls one back, gets his first goal in the 26th minute. Bruno with a yellow card in the 55th, and then a missed pen in the 76th. So really tough game for him all around. Dorgu also with the yellow cards. I know he's one that a lot of people had, and personally, I'm looking to get rid of him now. But then Brentford scored a third goal in the 95th minute on Matthias Jensen. Comprehensive win. I don't know what else to say. I mean, United look terrible. Amram looks like he's got nothing left. I'm not sure how much he looks like he's lost all this fight.
Yeah, first off, let's give Brentford their flowers. They took it to United at the end of the day. I mean, to put 3 goals past any team in the Prem, it's no easy feat. Thiago, I mean, granted, Henderson, he kind of just put one like right over the top. I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking to bring in Thiago. I think right now he's priced around 6 mil. I think initially we all thought he'd be nailed. I don't know if there were some injury concerns, but I don't think he's actually played like a full 90 in back-to-back games this season yet. But maybe this is the game that kind of pushes him to do so past United. I mean, should put you on anyone's radar. But yeah, I mean, nice game for Brentford. This game kind of felt like a little bit of a trap game for United, if I'm being honest with you. For one, I fell into that Dorgu trap where, like, I didn't start him last week and he had the assist. And then this week I did start him and he gave up 3 goals and got the yellow card. So, yeah, Dorgu this week, very disappointing.
All right, next game was Chelsea versus Brighton.
Right.
Chelsea
Albion.
with the early goal, Enzo. So is that his 3rd goal, I think, this season?
I think so.
So good start there for Enzo. 3rd minute, we mentioned earlier, Trevor Chalobah got Chalobah. That's a fun one.
Chalobah.
That's a fun one to say. It's a straight red.
Just Trevor.
Straight red in the second half. So as we said, that played into Pedro and the offensive players really not performing. Danny Welbeck with the goal in the 7th minute. And then 2 stoppage time goals. So Maximum Kuiper, who I know you were rooting for with the 92nd goal, and then Danny Welbeck with his second in the 90 plus 10. So a lot of time, and then he gave himself a yellow card after that. But so Welbeck with a brace. I think this is kind of what we've seen from him over the years. He goes weeks with being quiet, and then he'll get you an unexpected brace and some bonus points. But kind of an unreliable player, but they were playing a man up for the whole second half. So they took advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think this game really turned on its head in the second half when Brighton went up a man. Um, I, yeah, I don't know what you can really make of this other than, like you said, Chelsea kind of had to play a man down. So Brighton really went on the offensive. Welbeck didn't start. I don't really know why. So, if you're looking to maybe bring Welbeck in off of the brace, just maybe be cautious of that. To Kuiper was honestly very frustrating because he was flagged as I think a 75% caution coming off of his injury up until the deadline. So I was not comfortable starting him over Dorgu or even having him in my first sub slot, which actually, like, now that I think about it, that actually goes against what I would normally do for a player that is flagged. I usually would start the player that's flagged if I like the player, because worst case, they just get subbed. And I didn't do that primarily because I didn't like the matchup against Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, this is 2 weeks in a row now where I had I started basically the wrong defender, but this is a classic case of hindsight's 2020. It is what it is. De Kuiper's still on my bench. Glad to see him get involved in the attack, get the goal. Huge asterisk there with the red card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to your point, it is worth noting that Welbeck came in for Matoma. So usually we see those two playing together. So an interesting sub and kind of more question marks and hesitancy if you're going to bring him in to make sure there's going to be some rotation there. Next one, as we said, Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 1. So it was Ismaila Sarr, back from injury. He opened it up in the 9th minute. Slot got a yellow card in the 10th. Van Dijk with the yellow card. And then Chiesa comes subbing on in the 74th minute, gets himself a yellow card, but then gets the goal to go up 1-0 in the 87th. Or no, sorry, not 1-0. 1-1. Tie 1-1 in the 87th. Then Eber Nketiah, 90 plus 7 at the goal to win it. Assisted by Mark Gahey. So another return out of those Palace defenders. They've been having a great season.
Yeah. Yeah. If you watch this one, it was an awesome game. I will admit I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a lot of the highlights, the extended highlights. Palace, honestly, they deserved this one. First half, they applied the pressure. They really, they pushed for that first goal. They didn't just kind of like back into it. And I think I don't know if I was talking with Zach on the preview app or like the episode before that. I forget it was, but I think he and I said it. And I think you and I even said it. Like, we would not be surprised if Palace maybe got an early goal and then just kind of dug in and tried to absorb what they could. And they did get that early goal. Liverpool didn't really, and based on kind of the underlying metrics and whatnot, they didn't really apply a ton of pressure in the first half. I think Liverpool kind of opened up and played a little bit more freely once the second half started, and that kind of came to fruition with Kiesa's goal in the 87th minute. But it's just like it was not surprising to see Palace absorb what they could. But nice to see Nketiah get that goal late in the game. Palace deserved the result, I think. And just nice to see Liverpool lose. Like, they've had so many games this season where, like, honestly, they could have either dropped points, they could have shared the points. They didn't really deserve the full 3 points. The overall table could look a lot different right now if some of those results went the other way. So just kind of nice to see Palace shake things up, and deservedly so.
Did you see the conspiracy theory that when Liverpool needs a goal, there's so much extra stoppage time compared to when they have the lead?
So I love a conspiracy theory. I don't know if you know this about me.
So
My favorite is the Denver airport conspiracy theory.
Well, that's a fact. Those aren't.
That's fact. That's fact. My second conspiracy theory that I love is also the NFL season is scripted. That one's awesome. I have not seen this one about Liverpool extra time. Talk to me about it.
Well, I did. I explained it.
So that's all it is.
That's
Every
all it
time
is. Yeah.
Liverpool needs a goal.
When Liverpool needs a goal, that, 8, 9, 10 minutes of extra time. They needed one here. There was 6 minutes added. Backfired on them. But I don't know. Plays into all these late heroics that
How often has this been happening? Like for how many years?
this year I would.
Is this just your conspiracy theory that you're trying to push, or is
No,
this
I saw an
an
X on it.
interwebs?
There was an X that I saw on X.
Now I think there's a conspiracy theory about this conspiracy theory that you're conspiring
I'm
against
starting
me
it. It's
to
starting here
conspire.
tonight.
Okay. All right. I'll buy what you're selling. I love conspiracy theory. I'm here with it.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Leeds United 2-2 versus Bournemouth. Oh man,
Oh boy.
Leeds United. All
What's
right,
in your cup?
Menyo starting it off, a banger of a free kick. He is just having a tremendous season. Followed
Essential.
quickly by Joe Rodon, the Welsh Warrior, former Spurs. A nice header. This is by Sean Longstaff, who then
Loves head.
put the second goal in himself in the 54th minute. A lot of back and forth, but then at the death, Eli Jr. Krupi, assisted by Marco Senesi, ties it up in the 93rd minute. I think Calvert-Lewin got the start again for Leeds. Didn't contribute, played the full 90, but the main takeaway is Semenyo is just unstoppable. What a season he's having, and he's going to go somewhere at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no chance he's still playing for the Cherries after this campaign. Arsenal fans will tell you that he's going to be he'll be over there next season. But enough about them. Yeah, I mean, fun game to probably watch. I will admit I did not watch this game, but I was excited to see Semenyo return. He is as essential, I think, as a player has been early on in a season that I can remember in some time. His price just continues to rise.
Yeah.
He's basically the GameStop of FPL at this point. Or the Dogecoin. Obviously the Dogecoin, if you know me. As far as leads go, I would say DCL, just nice to see him get the start. He's still on my radar. 3 big shots on target, 38 touches, 5 in the opposition box, about a 0.75 expected goal. So, not anything that like jumps off the page, but the underlying metrics aren't awful. And then once again, like that Bournemouth back line, Marco Senesi, I think you mentioned it again, he had an assist,
It's having a great season.
another 15 defensive contributions. I think that is 6 for 6 in defensive contributions. So just an absolute DEFCON beast. Like I think he's also, we'll take a look at his price a little bit later, but I don't think you can find a cheaper defender.
He's about
that
4'9".
I think he's 4'9" right now,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's missed any defensive contribution points. I saw someone post basically like, so you get, what is it, 2 extra points for defensive contributions for a defender. So if you do that for, what was the math on it? It was basically like if you do it for like 30 game weeks, that's an extra 60 points, right? That's the equivalent to 10 goals for a midfielder, like over the course of a season. That's a lot of points.
Yeah, I guess when you compare it to goals.
Right? Like if you think about someone like Senesi's on pace right now to basically, I mean, what would make you think he would not continue to hit DEFCON every week?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Like it's not even like he's getting it barely. Like he's getting 15, 16 DEFCON every week. If he keeps at this pace, that's basically a free 60 to 70 points that you can have added to your total at the end of the season. That is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you. Note that. Jim said Matt had a good point.
No, you saw somebody else post that. You brought a good
I
point
tricked you
to
because
the podcast.
I posted that point. I just used third person because, I knew you wouldn't listen to me. Boy. Anything else on this one?
No. Moving on. City 5, Burnley 1. A tough day for Esteve. 2 own goals. Jaden Anthony with another goal, though, for Burnley. I think
Carrying it
he
up.
was another top 5 midfielder. He's having a great season so far.
He was number 3, I think, right? It was number 2. It was Semenyo, and then I think it was Jaden Anthony.
So Mateus Nunes gets the start. He had a goal in the 61st minute, assisted by Holland. And then it was just Holland time. A goal in the 90th and then a second in the 93rd. Doku with an assist on that. Just an absolute clinic he's putting on.
I think it was, I forget if it was the 90th or the 93rd. It was like a pass back. It basically was just a pass to him. I mean, like Burnley they were just like you want to talk conspiracies. There may have been some players in Burnley squad that had Holland captain, maybe triple captain, because it just like for a guy in his form to just feed him the ball there. I'm glad Pep did not sub him off at 3-1 because it was one of those things where like in the 89th minute, you were like, crap, Holland blanked. I guess he had an assist. And then it turned into like, man, what a great triple captain. 48 points.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
unbelievable.
You know? So, yeah. I'll get into like my points when we do our point reveals. But spoiler, I ended up playing the triple captainship, and I would say it worked out for me.
Not everybody was as happy with that game. Moving on.
Well, moving on.
Forest 0, Sunderland 1. So as we mentioned, highest point scorer of the week, Omar Aldorete, assisted by Granit Xhaka in the 38th. Ange off to a very tough start. Gibbs White didn't get the start. James McAtee did. So I think we're starting to see maybe some squad shuffling. He's trying to find who he likes. But another blank for Chris Wood. Might be time to consider moving on from him if anybody still has him. But other than that, really not much else to talk. Hot start to the season, and I think they need that.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think and just trying to find who in the squad is able to kind of fit the system that Ange wants to play. They also did have a little bit of a later in the week European game as well. So there might have just been some tired legs a little bit there too. So there could be some of that playing in this as well. Chris Wood got the 90, which I was happy to see, but he blanked, which I was not happy to see. That just kind of killed the vibe. Same with Sells, right? Like to give up a goal to Sunderland, it just stinks. These were players that I had targeted to really, in theory, be strong returners, and I think a lot of managers did, honestly, when the schedules came out, and just was not the case. And frankly, I don't see a reason why Ange would really like turn things around. So
give him some time. He's a good manager.
Well,
they got a lot of games coming up though, so it's going to be tough to be figuring out. Well, the games are coming hard and fast.
Next one was a doozy. Total trap game.
Disgusting
Total
game.
Trap game.
Spurs won. Wolves won.
Nobody won this game.
It was just an ugly one from the start. Javi got to start again, but a yellow card. Santiago Bueno, which means Santiago good, I believe, if you know Spanish. With a goal in the 54th minute, Frank brought on a bunch of his stubs looking for anything, and then we finally did get a breakthrough in the 94th minute. João Palhinha, assisted by Pap Sarr, who I know we mentioned last week, hot start to the season, but hadn't been given any time in the last few games. But gets the assist. Palhinha scores. Controversial shirt rip off and celebration. I don't know. I was okay with it. I think he's had a great start to the season. I think he's excited to be getting the regular minutes again and to salvage a point in an ugly, ugly game against the worst team in the league. Let him celebrate.
Did Joe used to play for Wolves?
No, he played for Fulham.
Are you sure he never played for? I feel like most of the Portuguese national team played for Wolves at some point. I want to look it up. It's not important, but let me see here. Sporting, Fulham. Yeah, I guess he didn't. Bayern. Yeah, it's disappointing. But
It's a
yeah,
disappointment.
yeah, no, I don't know. It's not disappointing, I guess. Disappointing is the wrong word, but you know, the result was disappointing. Yeah, this was again like, you know, I think Frank's he's got to navigate rotation. Porro didn't start this game. You know, Bergvall starting kind of in that number 10 role. We've seen him have some success, but I don't know if that's necessarily our strongest lineup. If we're relying on Palhinha to score goals, that's not a recipe for success in the Premier League, in Europe. Like that's not what Zhao is. That's not what he was brought in to do. So
Yeah.
you know, he has saved us with a couple of goals in the last few matches, but let's figure out how we get Richie on the score sheet. Let's figure out how we get Kolomouani on the score sheet. Let's figure out. I heard Solanke actually had a minor surgery on his ankle.
Yeah, he's going to be out.
Going to be out for a little bit, so hopefully quick recovery. Let's get him back on the score sheet as well. Kudu's still showing all the potential out there, but need him to start converting some goals as well. BJ get some goals. Really anyone, like just anyone but Polina. So
yeah, but point to point.
Point to point, we're still, we're still relevant, which is nice.
That's right. All right, moving on to Sunday. Villa finally gets to put it together, get some goals on the score sheet. So it started out with a Fulham goal of Raul Jimenez in the 3rd minute, but then was subbed off injured in the 11th. So tough for him. He just can't stay healthy after a few years ago when he was a great FPL asset.
Was it a head injury?
I don't recall.
I don't know. I didn't watch this one.
An awkward fall. He might have fallen while celebrating his goal. I shouldn't be laughing at injuries, but
man, no, we can laugh at that. That's okay.
Yeah, that'd be tough. Anyway, Watkins gets his season going in the 37th minute with an assist from Luka Dean. And then 2 more goals in the second half for Villa. John McGinn, assisted by Emilio Wendy, who then gets his own goal in the 51st, assisted by Morgan Rogers. So 3 goals. Watkins is involved in one of them. I guess exactly what Villa needed. Better late than never. Fulham, for me, I don't know. They're in a void at all costs. I know there was hope for Josh King and what he could do with his price at 4.5, but they've just been way too inconsistent in defensive risks.
Yeah. I think if you have Josh King in your team right now, I think Zach mentioned it. Like Kevin seems to be kind of that player that is likely to overtake him at some point, whether it be, being subbed in earlier or ultimately kind of just taking his position in that starting lineup. So Josh King's minutes may shortly come to an end. So just be on the lookout for that. Yeah, Fulham, I don't know. I think there's really outside of Joaquim Anderson, who has been DEFCON beast, so he had another defensive contribution, got those 2 points there as well. Other than him, I don't know if there's really anyone else I would look to target at this point. But then on the Villa side, so you mentioned, a lot of folks. Nice to see Morgan Rogers finally get involved with some sort of return. Like you mentioned, Ollie Watkins, your boy Harvey Elliott got the start. I don't think he actually got like any sort of, well, I know he didn't actually score, or have an assist or anything like that, but
came off
just interesting.
It's tough. Taken
off at half, but interesting to note that, Watkins did score when Harvey was on the field. So, is there something there to that, right? Like, is there a chance that, maybe Harvey gets more time? Like, he obviously did something to break into, or is it just, again, European rotation,
Yeah.
trying to bring, I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But at his price point, he seemingly is going to play pretty attacking, pretty forward. So could be a player to keep an eye on. But I was happy for you because I know that you had him in your team. So
Well, you got me 1 point.
yeah, better than nothing.
All right, the big match of the weekend: Newcastle 1, Arsenal 2. So more late heroics in this one. So penalty got canceled by VAR in the 14th minute, and then Nick Voldemort scored in the 34th. So he's really taken the opportunity. Well, this is out, and Gordon did come back this week. So he lined up on the left. Ultimate was up top. Jacob Murphy got to start again. So it's still, I don't know how much we know about this lineup. But yeah, either way, Voldemort's doing a great start so far, and one to really be considering moving forward. But Mikel Moreno with the assist by Declan Rice in the 84th minute to tie it up. And then 8 minutes of stoppage time, Gabriel with an assist by Odegaard in the 96th minute. Newcastle just played 84 minutes and then got taken down by 2 set pieces.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss.
Yeah, you feel for Newcastle here. They've had a rough go of it, I think, to start the season. Their defense has actually looked pretty good. I think before Gameweek 6, Nick Pope had been kind of the top 1 or 2 keepers of all of FPL to start the season. Livramento goes down here with an injury. Tough for him. But, excuse me. Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, Voltemade has made his presence known. I think at his price point, I think he's at 7-1 at the moment. He's maybe on his way to 2 by the time this episode drops. Maybe even 7-3.
Oof,
I
how
imagine
much?
his price will continue to go up. I don't see Vissa at this point taking any minutes from him, other than maybe a late game sub. His size, his pace, his impact on the game at this point.
Yeah,
I don't see how you can take him off the pitch.
he's 7-1 at the moment.
7-1. Okay. And I think they also had a Champions League game today, or was it yesterday? And I want to say they actually, so it was today. They played Union St. Gilloy. He also had a goal. He started up front with Anthony Gordon, and Alanga started out on the right. So they finally had kind of that lineup I think we've all been waiting for, with Gordon on the left, Voltemata starting up in that number 9, Alanga on the right. Midfield of Joelinton, Guimaraes, and Tonali, and then a back line due to injury. They actually had Dan Burn playing left back, which is interesting. Botman,
He's too big to
Diop,
be playing left back.
I know. And then they had Trippier playing right back. So the back line is a little bit of a question, but I think that front line and that midfield is pretty much what we should expect from Eddie Howe when they're firing on all cylinders. So good for Newcastle. As far as Arsenal goes here, I mean, yeah, we mentioned the set piece. One thing, I did see Gabriel came off with an injury in their Champions League game today, which is a little bit concerning because we know how important Gabriel is for, Arsenal's back line, arguably the best defense in the league when they are all healthy. Gabriel's also a huge piece on their set pieces. He's been known to score a header here and there. So if you have him in your squad, you might want to be thinking about who you might want to replace him with if that injury is going to keep him out long term. I'm not completely in tune with what that injury is exactly, so I'll be looking to get some more information on that. But that's all I got.
All right, one last game then to talk. This was the Monday afternoon. Everton won West Ham. Yeah, I feel like Everton, I think this is their third Monday game. Anyway, they opened up the scoring. Michael Keane, header assisted by the Notebook's James Gardner. And then Jared Bowden, who refuses to let the season fall down around him. He scored in the 65th minute. And then a few yellow cards I think Kieran Dewsbury Hall, I said it right, is going to be suspended now due to accumulation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tough for him. I did not watch this game, but the result is not unexpected.
Yeah. I imagine this was a pretty brutal 1-1 game to watch. Jared Bowen now, though, I think as far as form goes, is that 3-3?
Let's go
It
to the
might
tape.
be. Let's go to the tape. I know you were pretty high on him.
In previous years, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, you said it, like he always has that seemingly like late season run where he just kind of goes off. Great, usually like a pretty good differential, but him being classified as a forward has been tough.
Yeah.
3-4. I mean, that's better than João Pedro's last 4. It's better than Chris Wood's last 4.
As far as form goes, he's the second
Yeah.
most informed striker behind Holland.
So, it's
But they're
obviously
against
Graham
Arsenal this week,
Potter.
so
Well, that's where things, like how much do you take into account, how important is form? Form's it's a rear looking metric, but all it takes is that one team to just kind of put their foot down.
Yeah.
I just mentioned Arsenal's backline, a little bit banged up, but I don't know. So game week 6 in the books.
in the books. You want to go over team of the week quick?
Sure, why not? Team of the week, game week 6. So I mentioned player of the week, Sunderland defender Aldrete with 17 points. Sunderland keeper Ropes with 10 points. Gabriel, Arsenal defender with 13. Mateus Nunez, City defender with 12 points. Santiago Bueno, Wolves defender with 12. Longstaff, Leeds midfielder with 15. Emi Buendia, Villa midfielder with 12 points. Ismail Yassar, Palace midfielder with 11. Erling Haaland with 16 points up front, forward for City. Thiago, forward for Brentford with 13 points. Denny Welbeck with the brace. Forward for Brighton Hove Albion. If you had all these players, you scored 142 points. If you had all of these players, you are a genius. If you had none of these players, good luck next week.
I had one. I had one of those.
I had one of them, and luckily I triple captained him.
Yeah. All right. You want to get into our points then?
It's okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let me go first, because I feel like usually I let you go first, but I'm really proud of my score this week.
As you should be.
Thank you. So game week 6. So I've been saying for weeks that I didn't love my table position, but I felt like my instincts felt really good. I felt like my table position didn't reflect the decisions that I was making, and I felt like this week my table position is now starting to reflect where my instincts are. So this week I ultimately scored 75 points, which was almost 30 points higher than the average. Now, granted, that was largely due to the fact that I did play my triple captainship.
Mhm.
So just running through my team, so I ended up starting Sells over Dubravka. So Sells gave me 2 points. I mentioned Dorgu didn't even blank. He gave me 0 points because of the yellow card. Van de Ven gave me 2 points. Marquehi gave me 7. So that assist that you mentioned. Mo Salah gave me 2. Kudus gave me 2. Xavi gave me 1 because of his yellow card. Semenyo gave me 7 points. João Pedro gave me 2 points. Chris Wood gave me 2. And Holland gave me 48. So my score is very largely driven by Holland and Semenyo and Gay. Everybody else basically blanked. My bench was basically blanks as well. Reynaldo has his red card, so he's not playing for the next month. And then I mentioned De Kuyper was on my bench as well. Just, I basically had decided, it was actually kind of funny. I don't know why. I woke up quite literally at like 5:30 Saturday morning, and I activated the chip right before the 6 o'clock deadline. I don't know why I woke up that early. Just kind of you have kids. Sometimes you just wake up early. And I did not activate it before I went to bed.
Wow.
But something called out to me when I woke up. It probably was just indigestion. But
I wish it called out to me as well.
yeah,
You should have called me.
I know.
You should have said, let's do it.
I know. But it worked out. It basically brought me from, in a few of our leagues, basically the bottom quarter to almost the top quarter in most of our leagues,
Yeah.
which I'm very happy about. So I did beat the AI this week, but why don't we go through your points, because I want to make sure I give you a chance to talk through how you did this week.
Yeah, so I think we mentioned last week, I brought in Saka and Foden after I had to move on from Palmer. And I was hesitant to give the captaincy to Holland with that injury. I did not get the indigestion call at 5 a.m. to tell me it was okay to go on and rip it. So I did end up captaining Foden. And we all know that didn't work out. So I got 2 points from Foden. He had that yellow card. So I had a total of 39 points. I had Petrovic in goal with 3. Joe Rodon kind of saved me in my back line. He had his goal, but no clean sheets. Dorgo with the 0 after his yellow card, and Vandeman with 2. The real problem is my midfield right now. It's been killing me all year. Salah, Elliott, Foden, Kudus, and Saka combining for 9 points, with Foden having the captain band is, I don't even know what to say. Almost 16, and Pedro with 2. Tough week. Coping strategy. If I had given Holland the triple captain, I would have had 71 points. So I would have been right there with you.
You would have.
It's not like you would did that much better than me. Just triple captains.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Is just a couple clicks here and there. I'm like looking at your team. Like our back line essentially was the same. You just had Rodon, I had Gahey.
Yep.
Our midfield, we both have Salah, we both have Kudus. I've got Semenyo. I notice you don't have Semenyo. Curious if I know you have the funds in the bank because you had Palmer.
I no longer have the funds because I went up to Foden.
Is there any bit of you that would move from Foden to Semenyo this week? Oh, okay.
Foden is Brentford and then Everton after that. So I want him.
Who does Bournemouth?
Fulham, Palace, Forest.
Forest defense is pretty bad, right?
It's 3 weeks away.
True. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough right now.
Our teams are decent. I think I mentioned this too. Like, is it a template forming, or is it just like we're thinking similarly along similar lines? But yeah, no, you're spot on. Like, it just came down to captaincy, and then it really just came down to the fact that I pulled the triple captain. Like, you don't win or lose your season in one game week. Like, there's so much time left. Holland could just as easily haul again. He's going to play Burnley again at some point.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, they had 5 goals. 2 of them were own goals. 2 of them were at the deaths. It's like, I captained the wrong one, but the team scored 5.
Yeah.
How unlucky is it that how much is it bad luck and how much is it just bad captaining that he didn't contribute at all? But
yeah,
I'm going to go with bad luck and not bad captaining.
Right.
Or managing, I should say.
Yeah, it's okay. Now, moving on to our arch nemesis, Lord Tinkerton. So I got to admit, Lord Tinkerton, so didn't have a great week. You still beat him or her,
Thank God.
But they kind of nailed the transfer that they made. They kind of nailed.
Yeah.
So Tinkerton scored 33 points, so didn't even beat the average points of 46. Didn't beat Jim and I. Sanchez in back gave him 1 point. Poro scored 1 point. Tarkowski 1 point. Richards, Palace defender, gave him 4 points. Bruno Fernandes gave him -1, missed the penalty. Kudus gave him 2 points. His captain, Mo Salah, gave him 4, so we mentioned the blank there. He does have Semenyo, gave him 7. He started Evan Nilsson and Wood up front which gave him 2 points each, respectively. The transfer that he brought in was Doku, actually gave him 10 points and was his vice captain. So, I mean, from a like, if you want to say there's any silver lining, I guess you could say like, you know, like yes, Jim, you did outscore, but Tinkerton made a better transfer than you.
Okay, whatever. Do you get points for transfers?
No,
You get a
no,
trophy
no,
for
you
you
don't.
get a trophy for best transfers? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not this week,
Yeah.
but
I scored more than it.
I
I
guess
scored more than it.
the point that I'm trying to make is I'm nervous because if the transfer, like, if he's going to keep making the right transfers, like, eventually the points are going to come. And it's making me a little nervous. But
And
as long as he
you
doesn't
think
have Holland,
my points are not going to come?
I'm just waiting for when he says, like, sell Bruno Fernandez and so. Like, I'm waiting for it to say sell Bruno Fernandez and sell Pedro Porro so you can afford Holland and another like 4.5 mil. I'm making this up, but like, and bring in Holland. And then it's like, okay, well, now he's got Holland, Salah, like, he's got the best players in the game and Semenyo. He's basically got the 3 highest scorers.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford that though.
Well, we'll get into who, spoiler, the AI has done it again. We'll get into who they're planning on bringing in this week.
All right.
So, but yeah, so just looking at the table, as far as folks stand in our Tinker Time table, so a little bit of movement this week. So shout out to Paul Gonzalez, Maximum Steve, 73-pointer this week to claim top spot in the table overall with 371 points. Henry Paradise also moving up into second place. HPUC with an 85-point game week, 365 points. I believe they both triple captained Holland. I think they were in the same boat as me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really the key in order to get those high point totals this week. Saw a little bit of movement, but nice game weeks from Matt Wannett. Let's see who else here. Jim Aram with a 71-point game week. Let's see. Danny Wannett with a 65-point game week. Adam Danielson with a 68-point game week. So
He's fighting. He's fighting to get back.
He's fighting. Yeah, some nice point totals this week from folks. Connor, 61 points. Eat bugs. But yeah. Table's looking good. All right.
I don't know. A lot of season left.
It's a lot of season left. You know me, Jim. Sometimes I just got to get my little kicks in on people.
Yeah.
You know, some little digs, little kicks. And Jim, this episode is brought to you by Elaine's Little Kicks dance shoes. Have you ever wanted to dance like nobody's watching, even when everybody's watching? Well, now you can. Inspired by Elaine Bennis's legendary Little Kicks routine, these shoes are built for confidence, chaos, and complete disregard for rhythm. With reinforced soles for powerful side kicks, a flexible upper for all your jerky upper body moves, and a patented giddy up heel to help you stomp out the beat. These aren't just shoes, they're an attitude. Put them on, and suddenly you're the star of every office party, wedding, and awkward company picnic. Order yours today at littlekicksdance.com and use code TINKER for 15% off your first pair. That's littlekicksdance.com, code TINKER. Elaine's Little Kicks dance shoes, because good shoes make bad dancing unforgettable. And back to the pod. All right. So I think we've done a pretty good job recapping game week 6. I think this is the part of the mega ep now where we shift and maybe we start to look towards game week 7. What do you think?
Let's morph into it.
All right. Oh my God, that's so funny you say more. Side note. So I had like one of those moments as a parent last weekend where I was just so proud of my daughter. She came home from school on Friday, I think it was, and she said, so-and-so, one of her friends said, she said, like, so-and-so wanted to play Power Rangers. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, like, I don't want to say the kid's name, but she said like, yeah, so and so said like he wanted to be the Blue Ranger, and I was like, see, do you know what that is? And she's like, no. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I refuse to let her watch because I think there's actually like I think they make like new episodes of it, but like obviously I'm gonna make her watch like the real stuff from like the 90s when we were a kid. So
Yeah,
I put on like an episode of like the very cheesy classic stuff from the 90s
the good stuff.
and the good stuff, like the real good stuff. She is loving it. It is it is
Oh yeah.
it is
Who's your favorite Ranger?
she loves the Pink Ranger.
Don't we all? Heartbreaker.
My Christina's like should she really be watching this? And I'm like, this is way better than cartoons. Like at least it's real people. Like
I don't know if
like
that's
there like there's team building. There's like a story to it. Like it's about defeating evil. Like
they're very active.
there's yeah like gymnastics. Like there's she was
Gymnastics is a stretch.
she was so I made her watch the Yankee game with me last night. I didn't make her, but like that was what was
Dad, I
on the
want to go to
TV last
bed.
night. Well, the game was on at 6 last night, and so long story short, she wasn't happy that like she had to watch the game with me. Like I wouldn't play with her. I was like, I'm watching the game. And tonight she was like, I really don't want to watch the game. Like I like soccer better. I was like, all right, well, there's no soccer on. The Yankees are on. She was like, can I watch an episode of Power Rangers? And I was like, sure, no problem. Like I put it on my phone. I let her watch an episode. And like my son's asleep and Chris is on the couch. I'm actually standing. I watch playoff games standing, like hunched over, like I'm the umpire. I'm like calling balls and strikes. And she's sitting at the table, just like eating a snack, and she's just like laughing. And like we're both like Chris and I are just like looking back, and we're like, "You okay?" She's like, "Yeah, it's just funny." And I'm like, "What are you even laughing at?" Like I don't know. So awesome moment because my daughter's going to be into Power Rangers apparently. So
Everybody loves the Rangers.
it's morphin time. All right. Anyway, moving on to Game Week 7. Game Week 7. So Game Week 7 kicks off early this week. So we've got a Friday fixture, which is always fun. Just kind of starts the weekend early if it's a fun fixture. But if
Short
you
week,
aren't
short.
aware of it,
Yeah, because there was the Monday game, and now there's the Friday one. So we're missing a couple of days to tinker here.
yeah. Whatever way you want to look at it, it's either more time or less time to tinker because tinkering never stops as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, deadline's earlier this week, so be ready for it. We're kicking things off with Bournemouth and Fulham. So why don't we just like kind of go through the slate of games, players to target, maybe who to look for. I think we just mentioned it, right? Like, coming off some of the recaps. But let's start with the first game, Bournemouth and Fulham. I think on the Bournemouth side of things, we think about players to target. I think Semenyo, right? Like off the rip, Semenyo, Senesi, those are really the two players. I think if you don't have them in your squad and you can afford them, Fulham's attack is kind of hit or miss. You just saw Jimenez went out with an injury. So look for Muniz to get the start, I would think. Iwobi has looked probably like their second most attacking threat. But otherwise, I don't really see Fulham as super attacking. So could be a good week for Bournemouth defenders and even Petrovic in goal. Maybe not just grab DEFCON, but also grab a clean sheet. But what do you think?
Yeah, agree. And honestly, Fulham haven't looked great defensively. Robinson and Sessegnon are still kind of swapping in and out for each other. So this is one that, as a non-Semenyo owner, I'm a little nervous going into it because I think he could definitely go off and have a couple of goals. Based on the discussion earlier, I do think I should try and get Senesi in at that price. He's great. He's had a great season. And to your point, I don't see the type of player he is, similar to Van Dijk, right? There's nothing showing us that their defensive contributions are going to slow down or stop. I think to that point, you gotta you have to have at least one or two defenders that are going to be consistent returns on that, because clean sheets have been hard to come by. So if you could at least bank on defensive contribution points, I think Senesi's a great shot at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now he's priced at 4.9. He's roughly owned by about 21% of managers at the time of record. He's accumulated 81 defensive contribution, tally points. So that's about 13 and a half defensive contributions per match. And he's 6 for 6. So, you could argue that he is quite literally the best defensive contribution player to ever have played the game. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this is a great fixture to target. If you were looking to bring him in, I would expect his price to maybe be even on the rise. He might hit that 5 mil before the
Yeah.
Gameweek 7 deadline. So if you're short on funds, maybe look to bring him in sooner.
Kicking off Saturday, the early game, Leeds versus Spurs. Spurs, I know we mentioned last week they looked awful against Wolves. They had a tough midweek draw against Bodo Glint, where they were down.
That's embarrassing. Don't say that.
They were down 2-0. They were able to come back and tie it to 2-2. Really should have been 3-3. But tough week, short week. I would maybe avoid. I don't know. I don't want to say avoid bringing them in. I would not captain a Spurs player. I think they're going to benefit from the international break after this week. I think Frank needs to settle down some of the squad changes he's doing. I think we were trying to see who was going to be the Premier League squad, who's going to be a Champions League. It seems that Kudus is nailed for the Prem, and Johnson is going to be nailed for Champions League. But I think we really needed Xavi to do more. So I don't know. I would avoid captaincy. I wouldn't sell your Spurs players. I still think they should win this game. And I would not bring in Calvert-Lewin for this one if you're looking to bring in a Leeds asset.
Yeah, I think I would agree with all of that.
Really?
I think a lot of managers probably, yeah, I know. That's not good for like pod content to agree with everything. But
with the guy that's in last place.
I know. Well, yeah. I think if you're one of those managers like myself who targeted this fixture run for Spurs and you brought in 3 Spurs assets, like I'm definitely not looking at their performance against Wolves and thinking like, oh, this is a time to sell, or even their midweek performance against Bodo Glimt. Like, I think Spurs, yes, they're on the road here, but Leeds, they have allowed quite a few goals this season. Hopefully the goals will be flowing plentifully for Spurs this week. The only, and you mentioned, like, I don't think this is a captain, a Spurs player kind of game. It's also the early game on Saturday, which is always the captaincy trap that we try to avoid. So I agree with you, right? Like if you've got your Spurs players, whether it's, Porro or Van de Ven, if you've got Romero, Xavi, Kudus, whomever, right? Like keep them in your squad. Definitely start them. Maybe avoid the captaincy though. Moving on. So then we got the Gooners against the Hammers. So this will be Nuno's probably his biggest test since definitely his biggest test. I don't think Everton even compared to Arsenal. I think honestly, like Arsenal are a little banged up. I know Saka obviously came back from injury. He has come back and has had a clean bill of health thus far. That being said, like their squad at this point is still not full strength, right? You're still not seeing Saliba starting in the Prem. Gabriel, I just mentioned, went out with an injury. Odegaard still not back. So it's just going to be interesting to see a team like West Ham, who, bottom of the table, but under a new manager, and Nuno. Do you feel like Arsenal maybe? I don't know. This almost I don't want to say it feels like a trap
Odegaard did
game,
start.
but
Odegaard did start today and got an assist.
oh, did he start today?
Yes, and he got the
Oh, I
assist
missed that.
for Saka's goal.
How many minutes did he play?
He played the full game.
He played a full game. Oh boy, I missed that.
Saka came in the 73rd, so he did not play the full game.
Well, that's lovely then. So okay, well that's today's Wednesday, so short week. I wonder then if Odegaard would play on Saturday.
I would imagine he does. I think Arsenal are gonna smoke him.
Yeah. Then that kind of changes things because if Odegaard is back and if he's healthy, then their attack I feel like opens up a lot more.
Yeah, Odegaard, Saka, Gyökeres,
As a
as a on the left maybe. I don't think Saliba being was it Saliba or Gabriel that got hurt?
Gabriel got hurt.
I don't think him being out is gonna impact their offense with their offensive opportunities with all those creative players on the pitch at the same time. So I still think the attacking assets are ones to target here.
Are you bringing Odegaard in? Are you bringing anyone else in?
I am thinking about Gyökeres.
What's your
but
take on him thus far?
Uh,
What's
I think
your assessment of him thus far?
I think he's good, but the problem is all their goals have come from set pieces. That kind of
Hmm.
levels the expectation of who's going to score those goals. It's not like they're scoring all these goals from open play, and you would expect that even if he hasn't been the main contributor, he should be up there. When everything's off a corner, that's why it's like Zubamendi. Are you considering him over Gyökeres? I wouldn't think so, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think some of the criticism, and maybe criticism's too harsh, but some of the reaction thus far has been his goals have maybe come against some of the lesser opponents.
that's fine. We're talking FPL.
But like, yeah, I mean, I don't think that. Well, I guess to be fair though, like if you're thinking about when to target him, you want to see him be a little more fixture proof, just for his price. If he was priced at 7 mil, then sure. Like I don't know if I necessarily care as much if his returns are just against the weaker opponents. But when you start getting into that 9 mil price, you want to see him maybe have a little bit of more success. Because to your point, Arsenal are scoring a lot of their goals off set pieces. And I think, I mean, now that Saka's back, do we know with certainty if Gyökeres is going to be on pens or if it's Saka's going to get him back? I don't know if we ever really got clarity on that.
I mean, you got Odegaard there too, so it's
I would think Odegaard's probably third on that list,
who knows.
but
But
yeah.
yeah, I like him, and I really like their fixture run coming up. So he's one
Do
I'm
you like
considering.
him? Like him?
No, I just like him.
You just like him? Okay.
We're just
Well,
friends. I just
you're
like him
just
like a friend.
okay. All right. Well,
But no, I
all
would not
right.
be
Fair
bringing
enough.
in Bowen for this one, or anybody else from West
Yeah.
Ham. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree with you that Arsenal's defense being a little banged up should not impact their attack. I think maybe I'm giving Nuno a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, or maybe a little bit of the benefit of his success, like to see what he was able to do with Forest defense. Maybe he needs a little bit more time at West Ham to turn things around, to be fair.
yeah. He's been
So,
what, like 9 days. He'll be there. So
true.
give him some time.
All right, I hate Arsenal. I want them to lose. Move on.
Moving on, United Sunderland in the 10 a.m. slot. I don't know.
Say it with me on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sunderland are
till
gonna
I
win
die.
until I die.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said Sunderland are gonna win, and then I'm gonna die.
Oh. Yeah,
Cut that.
this is a tough one. This is the kind of game that I think is a trap game, right?
United at home.
United at home, they looked so bad previously. Sunderland's been playing well. It's a perfect time to flip the script, right? Keep Amram's job for another international break. I don't know. I could see that happening because on paper they're
How
a
many
much better
goals have
team.
Sunderland scored on the season?
I do not know.
I want to look. Hang on.
On paper,
Sunderland?
you would look at this and say, "There's no way that you would not start United players.
Sunderland have scored 7 goals and conceded 4. United have scored 7 and conceded 11. So Sunderland, they're only conceded 4 goals
Yeah, fifth
in
place
6
Sunderland.
matches. That's
They've conceded less
played
than City.
Burnley, Brentford, Palace, and Villa and Forest. I mean, take that for what it is, though, right? Like, those aren't exactly the most fearsome attacks
Agree.
in the Prem.
Agree. Yeah, right.
United, however, has played Fulham, Burnley, City, Chelsea, and Brentford, which, to be fair, only really 2 of those teams have what I would say are like,
And Arsenal, right?
you
Didn't
know,
they start the season with Arsenal?
yes, yeah, I'm just doing the last 5. So, right, right. So,
So yeah. So to that point, might have been underperforming. Sunderland's been winning or staying in games that they should. Think I
yeah.
think it would be expected that United win this one. That's just me.
Yeah. United have not been putting enough goals past the teams that they should be putting past goals. And this goes back to the conversation that we've been having kind of all season, where like their expected goals are not converting at the rate that they should. Is this the game where that starts to kind of like regress to the mean? Or like, is this the game where like that starts to kind of normalize? I don't know. I agree. It does feel kind of like a trap game, but yeah. Like, let me also say there are a couple of Sunderland defenders that I think are targetable, if you will, from a defensive contribution standpoint. So we mentioned Aldrete as our top performer from last week. So let me give you the numbers, right? So he's 4 mil from a cost perspective, only owned by 4.3% of managers. He's accumulated 59 defensive contributions this season. So just about 11 DEFCON per 90. He's at an 80% DEFCON success rate. So he's basically only missed 1 game out of the 6 thus far. Mukiele, also priced at 4 mil, only owned by 1.6% of managers. 51 DEFCONs, about 12.75 DEFCON per 90 at a 75% DEFCON percent rate. 2 defenders priced at 4 mil that have been pretty consistent from a DEFCON perspective. It's tough to make the argument, though, that you would want to bring them in against United, who have shown the goal threat. But the counter argument to that is you still get DEFCON points. You're actually probably more likely to get DEFCON points against a team that is with attacking threat. Oh, and by the way, they're only 4 mil for a cost. So you're not really bringing them in for anything other than the fact that their budget and they're likely to get defensive contribution. So maybe the play here is bring in those 2 defenders or one of those 2 defenders, and that's really all you're expecting or hoping to get out of that fixture. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, normally I would think don't burn the transfer just to hit the defensive contributions, but
True.
Reinildo is suspended. If you
Yeah,
have him,
piece of shit.
if you have him, I
I
think
still have him.
transferring him to either one of those 2 options is good. I don't know where he is on close to a price drop, but I know he's one that's been highly owned at the beginning of the season, but these might
Brutal.
be better options.
Okay. Moving on.
Moving on, the big one, Chelsea, Liverpool. It's the 12:30 on Saturday Eastern time. I don't know. This one I'm just excited to watch. And I'm not going to captain either side. So Chelsea are going to be without Chalobah,
Dan Palmer.
and Palmer. Do we have a return date for him yet? Or is it still?
I think I
He
mean,
showed up
I
wearing
heard it.
Uggs to the game yesterday, so I don't think
Yeah,
he's
I
close.
heard at least 3 weeks. I heard 3 to 6. Can I give you a hot take?
Let's hear it.
I think Liverpool honestly could win this one like 4-0.
You think so?
I could see this game going like one of two ways. I think either Liverpool wins this game like 4-0 and they restore like the swagger, like the hey, we are the class of the league, we're the team to beat, or they kind of deepen or they continue the questions that folks have about them, where it's like, what is your identity? You know, are you going to play through Isak? Is Salah going to be the focal point? What are you doing with Wirtz? Like, is Kirkez and Frimpong, like, are those, you know, are they bust? Like, what, like, there's so much success that Liverpool has had in terms of table position this season, but that table position, frankly, is masking a lot of, it's covering up a lot of like just not great things that we're seeing when we watch
It
the
doesn't
game.
seem like you're saying anything nice about Liverpool, but you're also saying they could win 4.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like Arnie could take this week and say, "Listen, we went to Palace, we got embarrassed, right? Like we're gonna take this week, go back to the drawing board, and we're gonna go out there. Like we're gonna show them we're not just big spenders. We're gonna go out there and show them that like we can actually back it up. Like there's
Yeah, but they're
nothing
not.
worse than a team
Yeah, but they
that
don't
has a
have the
chip on their
form.
shoulder.
They don't have the form to back it up right now. They just lost another 1-0 to Galatasaray.
Yeah, but form is a like I said it a little while ago. Like form is a rear facing metric. Like form is only as indicative as whatever you did in the past. The past is the past. Who cares?
What? That's
Like
how you're saying.
so if that's the case, then why would you ever like you backed Watkins the other week? His form would have told you to never do that. Like at a certain point, you either just expect players or
So you're saying
teams.
they're due. They're due.
I think Liverpool are either due for like just one of those games where they go off and score 3 or 4 and they just dominate both sides of the ball, or they raise like they continue that narrative of like, what is Liverpool doing? Because the games that they have played to, you know, like support your conspiracy theory, like a lot of the games they've played, it's been like, well, like, is Liverpool like for real? They've gotten the result, they've gotten the 3 points. That's why they're top of the table. But Palace kind of exposed them, right? Now they have this chip on their shoulder. Do they come out, you know, swinging in the first round?
To say Allison did get injured, so if he's not
But
back
that
there,
happens every season.
yeah,
I saw someone say, "How expensive is Kelleher?" And I kind of laughed. So
yeah,
I don't know though.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I could see that happening.
I could see it being a 2-2. I just don't. I feel like the teams are in very similar spots. It's like they're better than how they're performing, although Liverpool has been winning. They just haven't been themselves as dominant.
Right.
But how much of that is going to be fixed by shuffling the lineup, or is that going to continue to hurt them by not having a consistent starters to work with? I don't know.
But like, what are they going to shuffle?
Verts, Isak,
Well, Ekatike, I believe, went down with an injury, so I think Isak
he
is
did.
definitely going to start. I mean, they also spent $10 billion on Isak, so he's going to start. He's going to play up top. Salah is the king of Egypt. He's going to start on the right. So the left side is either that's really the only decision I feel. It's either Gakpo or Verts. The midfield, I don't see how it's not McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai. Your back line being Van Dijk, Kirkez, Frimpong, and who's their other center back that they start usually? Trying to
Konate.
Kanate.
Right, but that's
So
the same
like
lineup
that's the
as
right. So but that's also the lineup that has them top of the table. So like I think we're kind of saying the same thing where like we're either going to see more of the same where it's like we're going to have more questions about that team, or they're going to come out and just like play like the team that on paper they should play like.
Yeah, I guess I think you're discrediting Chelsea more than I am. I
Well,
still
I feel
think
like
Chelsea.
Chelsea's so banged up right now, plus the red card to Chalaba. I just don't
Yeah,
have a lot of
but
faith
that
in Chelsea
midfield
right
is.
now.
I feel Enzo and Caicedo are good enough that they can, similar to what Palace did, just make it very difficult for Liverpool to control the midfield and generate 4 or 5 goals. I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm
they're
curious
not
what
as
the
good as Palace defensively. So I do think that it'll be, a couple goals on each side. I just I think these are almost very evenly matched in form squads. So I think it'll be a good one to watch.
I'm curious what their last few matchups look like. Let's see. Chelsea won back in May, 3-1. Yeah, I mean, most of them are actually pretty low scoring. There's a 4. Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be a good one.
I'm probably
It'll be a
wrong,
good one, but
but that'll be a good one to watch.
I'm going to avoid captaining either side.
I agree. All right, let's keep it going.
All right, kicking off Sunday, Villa hosting Burnley. Seems like a no-brainer. If you have Watkins, play Watkins. Maybe a captaincy pick here. Burnley, I mean, Esteve's got to be pretty down in the dumps, so maybe bench him.
I think if he has another own goal, I don't know what he's going to do if
Yeah,
he has another own goal. But
yeah, I think it's pretty kind of straightforward on who to play and who to target here.
yeah,
Agree?
enough.
Next one, a little more challenging. Everton hosting Crystal Palace.
Is this one challenging?
So Everton have been better than we, I think, maybe expect them to be based on how they've done the last couple of years. I mean, they've been in a relegation battle for 2 years in a row, but they've looked better. Palace are tough.
18 unbeaten. It goes to 19. There's no way.
You don't think
I don't see Palace dropping points.
okay.
I don't see it.
You don't see
I
Jack
mean, unless
you don't see
they're.
Jack wanting to break that storyline?
I mean,
James Gardner?
I mm, I don't want to go out too far on a limb here, but I mean, maybe the fact that Everton's at home, maybe that kind of plays to their advantage. I mean, it should play to their advantage, you would think. But I just think Palace right now, they're playing with a ton of confidence. Hopefully, not cocky. Hopefully, not hungover from the result last week against Liverpool. Um, you got to think that they're playing with their chests pumped out a little bit, coming off from last week. If Sar's healthy, if Mateta, I mean, Glasner just seems to get the best out of those guys, and until he gives me reason to think otherwise, I just Everton doesn't scare me for them. So
All right, fair enough.
I mean, I'm gonna continue to start Mark Gahey, or if I had Richards in my team, or LaCroix. If you have Hendo back there and as your keeper, I would not be afraid of starting my Palace defense or Sar in midfield. I don't know if I'm bringing Mateta in this week, just because I feel like if you have the money to bring in Mateta, you have the money to bring in Voltemade, who is in the next fixture that we'll talk about, Newcastle against Forest. And I really like Voltemade at 7-1, so that would be probably the move I would make.
If you brought in Jack already, would you move him out? He's Palace this week, then City, Everton, then
So he's not
Sunderland
eligible
and
to play
Fulham.
against City, so keep that in mind. Parent club, he's on loan, so he's so say that picture run again. So this week he's got Palace. Next week he has to sit because he's playing City, and then what's after that?
Tottenham, Sunderland, Fulham, United.
So I don't love the. I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, to be him against
I
Porro.
wouldn't bring him in.
I wouldn't bring him in right now if you don't have him in. If you were gonna bring an Everton asset in, to be very honest, it probably would be Iliam Njai, who I think is similarly priced, if not the same price. And I think he's on pens, and he doesn't have any sort of loan obligation eligibility issues to worry about. So that would probably be who I'd target.
All right. Moving on. Newcastle hosting Big Ange.
Attack! No, I mean this one. I hope this one has a lot of goals. Honestly,
Yeah.
Newcastle seem poised to just have that like breakout game where they have a ton of goals. This could be the one. Forest defense just hasn't. I mean, Forest defense not even a thing at this point. Shouldn't even be a thing. If you haven't moved on from your Forest defenders at this point, do your best to do so. I will definitely be looking to move on from Matt Sells this week. I think think I have 2 transfers, so I'm going to be looking to definitely make Matt Sells a move a priority this week. But yeah, Newcastle, I think if you can target Voltamata, I think this is a great week to do so. He's in great form. He seems to have that spot nailed. You mentioned Vissa's still injured. And even when he does come back healthy, I don't think he's taking his minutes anytime
No,
soon.
not with the start he's had.
Yeah. But this should be a good one for Newcastle. I think
Agree.
they're poised to break out. They're not going to sit in. What are they in now? Like 11th or 12th?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be there forever.
They are a little banged up in the back, though, right?
Who doesn't love that?
Yeah, we'll see if Livermento comes back. Moving on, another one that's you could probably just skip this one. Wolves hosting Brighton. Wolves
Honestly,
are in
they
last
should
place.
refund the fans. There is no
Yeah.
point in playing this game.
Yeah, I think we kind of mentioned it earlier.
It's the Kuiper. That's it.
It's the Kuiper, and I don't even know. Matoma might be off.
Maybe Minta.
Maybe Minta if you're really looking for a differential, but for Matoma to get subbed
Wow.
off for Welbeck, that was the final straw for me. That's not something you want to see, getting subbed off for a geriatric player.
Boy. Yeah. Yeah. And that'll bring us to the last fixture. Brentford hosting City. I mean, you mentioned it. I think City's lineup has probably been as stable as it has been that we can remember in recent history. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, Holland is as essential as he has been in recent time. If you don't have him in your squad at this point, figure out a way to get him in. This could even be another one of those games where maybe you look to pull that triple captain chip. I mean, Brentford's defense hasn't been awful this season. Not, Wolves bad. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see some managers maybe have that remorse and kind of go on tilt and pull it this week. But yeah, I think this would be another great fixture for Holland. He was likely to get the captain armband for most managers this week.
Yeah, and he's coming off. I think he had another brace today. So they drew 2-2 in Champions League. He got man of the match, but his comments were basically, he's grouchy that they didn't get the win, and I don't know. It almost seemed like he's calling out the team, saying, "I'm done. I'm over all these individual awards when we can't win." The rate he's scoring is unbelievable for them not to be in first place.
You think about all those years where like after Aguero left, like they didn't really have like a true striker. This is what they needed, and they have it. And like I don't know, this is what they were calling for, and they have it, and they're not. And now they don't have like the pieces around him yet. They have Balloon d'Or winner, 1 year removed, and Rodri, obviously, with his injury. So it's like they have to get that back line settled, and then some stability in that midfield on the attacking side. But it's just that simple. I don't know. I'll call Pep. I'll let him know.
Could be another. He's angry. He's gonna put 3 in.
He might.
Do you think it would be crazy? And this is just hypothetical. If somebody's looking to move up in their league to like double down on captaining Foden.
Wow. Hypothetically, no. I mean, I think it's so early on that, I mean, it's hard to say that at this point in the season, you're really like, digging your own grave.
What do you mean?
Because
this was a hypothetical.
No. I'm using you as a general pronoun. It's just hard to say that at this point in the season, a manager, I'll use the specific noun, a manager could be digging their own grave.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's tough because if you're pulling a Holland captain this week, then you're kind of committing to the fact that, okay, I'm not really going to make up any ground because I'm either going to live or die with Holland's return like everybody else. So you're really just banking on, the 1 or 2 differential players that you may or may not have in your squad.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, are you really trying to spend your transfers on, like a Sunderland defender this week as a differential to bring in? Like, probably not. So it gets really tough. So a lot of times, like a voting captaincy, that is your chance to make up ground.
Yeah.
And doing so early sometimes sometimes it's worth it to make up ground early because now you're just keeping pace instead of trying to catch up. So hypothetically, it's not something I would do, but hypothetically, it's not crazy.
Yeah. Hypothetically, I would consider it for sure.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking. Okay.
Oh.
I know we kind of mentioned it as we went through, but I think top captain picks this week probably Holland, hypothetically Foden, but I mean
I think
maybe
Arsenal.
Semenyo,
Semenyo definitely, but that's the
Saka.
early game. I think Saka or Gyökeres or even Voltamade, maybe
Yeah,
even Watkins. So I think there's some
yeah, Watkins
good
one.
choices here.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I would personally avoid Liverpool and Chelsea. I think there's just
mm,
better options that you're more likely to return.
yeah. And as far as differentials, I know we kind of talked about a few of them. We mentioned some of those Sunderland defenders. I want to just focus on defensive contributions. I think this week, we mentioned Senesi at 4.9 cost. I think I went through his numbers already, but defensive contribution monster. Death taxes and DEFCON for Senesi. So if you're looking for those extra points, you can extrapolate that over a season. Well worth the investment.
Mhm.
Mukiele, I mentioned him. Eldrete on Sunderland. I mentioned Joaquin Anderson on Fulham. I mentioned some of the Palace defenders. Esteve is the popular defender over at Burnley, but his teammate Ekdal, who's also a 4 mil defender, only owned by 1.5%, essentially the same numbers. So if you're looking for an even greater differential within that 4 mil budget, also can give you that DEFCON return. Ekdal is also a Burnley defender you can target. Otherwise, the only other player I think I would mention, Joel Veltman at 4.4, who's gotten some starts for Brighton lately, only owned by 0.2%. He's gotten, on average, 10 defensive contributions in about half of his matches, but he hasn't been starting all of his matches. So, take that for what it is. Basically, the matches that he has started, he has gotten his return.
Mhm.
So if he continues to start, he could be a player that at that 4.4 is a little bit cheaper than where he started the season. So if he starts to get, a little bit more attention, he could eventually rise back up to the 4.5. But yeah, I mean, I think we mentioned a lot of the differentials this week. And, we've also mentioned differentials. They become a little bit harder to spot because over time, obviously, managers become more aware of the players that are performing. And we'll keep an eye on it as the season goes on. But I don't know. Was there anyone else that you were targeting this week?
No, um, like I mentioned, I think Gyökeres and Voltamade are the two that I don't think they're considered differentials. They're the two that I would like to get in. Unfortunately, I can't really do that unless I sell Salah. So, but
Yeah.
I like those two. Their fixtures at least. Gyökeres is
And
on by
it's
26%, so he's definitely not a differential. Voltamade is only owned by 4.5.
Yeah. And speaking of Gyökeres, just taking a quick look at the top transfers thus far for this week. So Gyökeres is the top transfer in thus far with over 4,000 transfers, followed by Gabriel, his teammate, and Saka, just over 2,300 transfers, and Raya. So like you mentioned, folks are definitely targeting that Arsenal fixture, with Senesi being that fifth
And
most
fixture
transferred
run.
player. And
And
yeah,
fixture
and
run.
the run
They
itself.
have
Arsenal are
a good few
definitely,
coming up.
they have a good run. Yeah, so that's reflective of the players that are being brought in. Players moving out, Chris Wood, Nico Williams, Mo Salah, like we mentioned, only about 1,500, so definitely not enough to trigger that price drop, but something to take note of. João Pedro and Cody Gakpo. So, not everything is seen so pretty over in Liverpool land.
Mm,
So we'll keep an eye on
a
that.
lot of questions.
A lot of questions. As far as price risers, so we'll take a quick look at that. Uh, I don't think there's been any risers today since we've started chatting, but just taking a quick look at players who are expected to rise in the next day or two. So Nick Pope over at Newcastle, Eze, Dan Burn, Rofs, so Sunderland keeper, Anton Stock over at Leeds, midfielder. Interestingly enough,
Yeah.
Josh King is on his way up too.
So stock, but they were on there last week, right? I think they just haven't. It seems like they got close to a rise, and then they leveled off. Because has been on there since he was the performer
Yeah,
of the week.
yeah. And it actually looks like since we've been talking, Nick Pope has hit the threshold. So Nick Pope will rise tonight. So,
Okay.
if you're looking to target that Newcastle defense for that Forest fixture, try to get Pope in beforehand. And as far as fallers, I don't think anybody really meaningful. Maybe Brennan Johnson, Cody Gakpo, we just mentioned. Chris Wood is probably on track as well. So I will probably have to make a move so I don't hit that price drop like many other managers as well. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. Um, have you thought about any moves you're looking to make yet?
It comes down to whether or not I want to sell Salah and take the hit to upgrade to a third striker, and I have not decided yet.
Yeah,
It seems
I think
silly to do that, but I don't know. He just hasn't been scoring enough goals. He's been getting points, but not enough that it'll fix my other needs. So considering that, given how far down I am in the league, I probably will have to do something drastic at some point. It's gonna be tough if he does score, and I am one of the only ones that doesn't have him. But at the same time, I need to make up some ground. So that might be
are
my
you
move.
considering any chips this week, like maybe a free hit?
No, no. I mean, what's free hit? I'm still gonna have the same issues if I use a free hit. I'm unhappy with my squad. I
True,
mean, I'll admit it. Yeah. So
it happens.
the chip's just gonna skip.
Yeah. Well,
What about you?
what's good is you'll have the international break to really just let it stew even longer. So that'll be good
Right.
for you.
So
Yeah.
that's my other thought. Do I take the hit, move out Salah this week, or do I bank the transfer, keep Salah one more week, and then take it from there? But I do want another Arsenal attacker against West Ham, but we'll
Mm,
wait and see.
yeah.
How about you?
Yeah. So I've got two transfers to make. I think my moves are pretty well scripted. If I haven't, well, I don't know if I've said them explicitly, but Chris Wood's definitely got to move out. I think I mentioned it a couple episodes ago. I basically brought him in for his last two fixtures. Didn't pan out. It happens.
Tough return.
So, yeah, no return. So Chris Wood's going to move out. I think it's a pretty straight move to Voltamade, which honestly worked out because I think when I brought him in, Voltamade was not really in the picture, but he has luckily come into the fold. And I think he's going to slot in very nicely, get a little bit of money back as well, put a little bit in the bank. And then I need to move on from Sells as a keeper. And because
Never
of
fun.
the money,
Never fun to do
yeah,
a keeper transfer.
I know. But I think it'll be worth the upgrade. I'm going to probably go over to Nick Pope. So moving on from a couple of Forest players and bringing in some Newcastle assets, which I think in the long run will be in my favor. So
Yeah.
got to hopefully make those moves before the price rise, which might have actually just happened because we just hit midnight. So might not matter.
I gotta
So
ask you, do you have bedazzles on your shirt?
it's got a little like I don't know. I got it from work. It's got a little like reflective thing going on with it. I don't know.
Nice.
Thank you. It's cute. It's not a bedazzle. All right. So the AI team.
Yeah, what they're doing?
So they once again they had a good recommendation. So their transfer recommendation is to move out Mark Guiu
Okay.
and bring in João Pedro, which is a valid move. They have
Yep.
enough money to do it. So we're going to allow it.
All right.
Not that we can overrule it because the AI is, it's smarter than us.
I guess I'm
But,
just
and
surprised they didn't already have it.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really know why they didn't either. I will just make the transfer right now. Captaincy, it's probably I'll have to play with the prompt. I'm actually out of credits right now. I have to wait a couple of hours because I was using ChatGPT for something else earlier today. So I have to wait a couple hours until I don't pay for it. So, but it's probably going to tell me solid anyway. But I'll check that out after the fact. But
Yeah.
so you out, Joe
Smart,
Pedro in.
smart move. Smart move.
Makes sense. They've
How
actually
much do
got
they
an
still have in the
extra.
bank?
So that move actually put a $500,000 in the bank, believe it or not. So
Hmm.
they're doing it. They're doing it. So yeah.
All right.
I think we actually got through
What
the
a
mega ep,
fun mega episode.
believe it or not. So if you are a listener and you got through all of this, good for you. First off, hats off. I gotta say, this was a lot of fun. I I didn't know if we could get through it. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but we got through it, and I think we're better off for it. Hopefully, you
A
all
lot of good
are.
thoughts. A lot of good players
Lots
this
of
week to
thoughts,
target.
lots of good players. Well, it's I love FPL. It's the best. But that being said, please, as I say at the end of every episode, it really helps us out a lot. If you can go like us, subscribe, hit us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, like our channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop us a comment, let us know if you have any questions, let us know who you're going to captain, drop us some banter. We love when folks talk shit to us. It's easily the best part about our job. And this is not a job, this is just fun. But keep in mind the deadline for Gameweek 7 is Friday, not on Saturday, so don't forget that. And as always, we will drop our mini league code in the description. Not too late to join our league. And as always, thank you for joining us on Tinker Time. Don't forget again to like and subscribe, drop your captain picks, and we'll see you next game week. Until then, happy tinkering.
Draft dreams rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait, captain choice will seal your fate.